Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here we are with Mata's POV, Apex vs IF22, CPC game mode. Let's see how this goes. Starting off strong with a Nomad, rushing straight for center. I see some of the teammates coming in for a backup. Okay. Seems like the opposing team has come in with surges. That's why it took them so long to come to center. And also we notice that Mata goes in, killing one surge, and afterwards he gets stunned. So why would this happen?
Mainly just due to the lag that we have in the game, right? So it's your ping plus their ping, and then wherever the server location is. In this case, it's Europe. The best way to really deal with lag is to try to, hit the buttons faster than you usually would, because you have to try to speed up, right? That's the best thing I can tell or I can advise. If you register before the other site actually registers, rather than how the game will interpret or render it, then you have a better chance. Not necessarily that it's guaranteed, but it will increase your chances of escape or engaging.
So pretty much, the further you are, the faster you gotta be. Alright, makes sense. Let's keep moving. Here we also see Mata overextending, despite low HP. And here we see also Nomad with railguns. Did they actually miss the shots? Or the shots didn't register properly?
Could be a mix of both, because he did get the alarm, like he did get like something was being shot on him.
Yeah.
See, yep, right there.
Actually, 4 times?
Twice.
Hey.
Yeah,
That's
that is
crazy.
unfortunate. But that's again for Mata's gameplay is that when you want to go deep in here, of course, there's a lot of value being, as we can see right now. However, you have to always keep in mind that that position is still very difficult, very hard, and very against Mata, because his back is given to the opponent for a long time. So that is something to consider as well. The fundamentals of any time you play the game. I'm gonna write it down here. Actually, I'm gonna write this in 3 main points to make it simple. Number 1, I call this the battle pillars, basically. Number 1 is to survive. Always do whatever you want to do with your gameplay. You gotta survive. Number 2 is to focus on the objective. So whatever game mode you're playing, what is the objective? And finally, number 3 is the kills. If you basically do the first 2, the third one will come automatically, right? So that's always, and that's the concept. People say that if someone got lucky, well, of course, other than the ping, if someone is getting lucky, it's because if they follow these 2 points, it will look like the people are getting lucky, but actually it's just fundamentals of the battle that you focus on that makes the opponents, succumb to a mistake, in which it becomes, or looks like it's luck.
Yeah, maybe there's a little tactic behind that. Moving on, let's see what Mata's going to spawn in with. Blaze Wing, fun pick. Alright, after smashing the head against the roof.
Happens.
Very risky spot. And actually that shot... Was it blocked by a ramp? Hi, unlucky. But eventually he got a kill.
I was right here. We want to try to avoid this. Just going back here, we want to try to avoid as much as unnecessary jumps as possible. So we're gonna look at this part here. So the weapon is reloading. There's no reason to. We're not aiming at anyone, so can't shoot at anyone. So we have to be careful from the jumps that are happening in the middle of the air, because this is where the character is most stagnant and easier target, especially against a sniper under 100 meter range. So we have to keep that in mind. This is, I think, a railgun if we saw it correctly. And even though
Yep.
it's an EM rifle, this is now the most easiest target if that person pushes up and aims and shoots. Right, so we got to be careful from this kind of jump in the future.
Definitely. I would say that between the two, the Lacewing and the Surge was the safest one. Because he was using a little bit of ramp to protect himself. And here we see Mata getting punished for being so in the open. Let him off. But he also managed to keep busy the whole right side for a moment. And here the Seeker comes in to finish up the job. Yeah, that's Seeker teleport. Well, I will strongly suggest to not teleport with your Seeker on the first target available. Because, as we see, whoever's sitting back can punish you for that. And also, when you're teleporting close to control point, you have to be aware on how many players are on the field, and keep in mind that whoever died can spawn right on that control point. Anything you wanted to add?
We can just quickly note down the teleportation variables that we need to consider. So first thing, as you said, the furthest target is what we require. So it does not allow opponents to react faster, because if you teleport from someone who's forward, the person on the back can easily see you and chip in the battle.
Exactly.
Another thing is watch the opponents, how many people are alive, look at the mini map, that you really see where your opponents are so that you can capitalize on that. And last thing is the location of teleportation. So in this case, the player is low in health, so this is a man in a mission, so it's okay. But in general, the more you survive, the more pressure you can put, and that's only by even marking. You don't even have to teleport to cause that pressure. And yeah, so I was saying about the point, if you teleport out in the open, you would get punished.
That is also true. Choosing a safe control point to spawn on. Wise decision. Because you don't really want to always spawn in the heat of a battle. You might want to plan your attacks as well. Despite the Vortex being a rushy mech that you can afford going in with. And here we see that this guy got punished because he didn't check his surroundings first. And Mata took advantage of a high ground, of course, given that he's got storm racks, and splashing them at an angle, it's always good to get the back damage. Yep, that was mostly back damage. Alright, that was a nice match. Ooh-wee, 10 kills.
Okay, so moving on to a second match here against the same team, but different game mode, 5v5 deathmatch, so we can change things up a little bit. We have here the ZC Cargo Dock, one of the newest maps, an interesting one as well. Close quarters with different chambers or rooms, cubbies
I love it.
underneath, and so on. Yep, it's definitely fun. Okay, so we're starting off here with Seekers, Nomads, so some Dashers and Eclipse. Looking at this, the player is applying pressure.
We definitely see a couple of Nomads on the field.
Yeah. So it's like a slow gameplay right now. So one thing about this is, from the last comments we said, is when do we want to teleport? As Seeker, is very important that you have either support with you or even you are teleporting on an isolated target. So this is a clear, good example of an isolated target on the right side, so that you can kill and escape accordingly.
Oh wow, that was
very
risky.
close too. Yeah, yeah. You know, this is the map is so small that people can actually support that, but following those fundamentals, that's the reason why this guy survived 6,000. Okay, still watching, looking for the target. This is a very important note as well, that information is definitely key. Again, this guy's low health, so it's kind of okay to an extent. But knowing the opponents, if they have Vortex or are they playing Panthers, it's very important to know that if the abilities are used, so that you can get more value with this. And the best way you can do this is through communication. So you have your teammates who potentially have seen the Vortex and call it out with the name tag, so you know who that Vortex is. And then the Seeker would identify or try to be patient and wait for the right moment to go in.
Yeah, I would say definitely that the shorter the cooldown on the enemy and shorter is the time window that you got to teleport in, get your kill and escape eventually. So I would never personally teleport on a Nomad, but I would choose a safer target, also a squisher one. Nice, just left that guy. I never managed to do that.
The sleep mechanic does curve, so you want to always try to use the wall as much as possible. And you'll be able to land it quite easily.
Yeah, I still have to practice this thing.
And since this is a small map, you want to always try to fire that mortar. So you don't want to keep it up for too long. Just keep firing right side, left side. Have that constant pressure on the opponent so that your teammates can, get an easy access to the opponent's side.
Makes sense. Hey, double hitting.
Here, ooh, that is unfortunate. Here we see double Aegis strategy, trying to push up to get advantage. Okay, so in this case, two main things that happen. We notice that as soon as I put the shield here, I move out because I notice that there are dashers coming in. So one of those dashers would be a surge, so I could easily stun. Yeah, there are two ways to stop this. Either to move out as soon as possible, but I got stunned anyways due to lag. But the second option is to stand on the edge of the shield so that you block the stun, but you will be close to your opponent. So this is a judgment call that one needs to make. And of course, the shield placement here was not the best. We don't want to get too close. We want to try to find a nicer balance between the opponent's side and your team side. Then we notice also a vortex coming up. And with that vortex, this play could have been a little bit different, but still, each player needs to do their due diligence by reacting accordingly, and this goes to the Aegis in the screen. But great play from, or great counter, rather, from IF22.
Definitely. Because the idea was on point, just a little bit of to work on the execution for next time. But I'm sure it's definitely a one-time scenario.
So notice here, this is one thing we're talking about the nomads, is that when you go in, okay, it failed the dash, no problem, go back. And it's just a fundamental thing. It's just like, if you don't want to keep always just going in with nomad, you can always go in and go out, because that influences the opponents to indirectly make a mistake. So that guy saw me, he was coming in, and my nature of just going back and trying to restart things helped me stay alive in that case, where people will consider as luck in that case.
really unlucky. I see a constant pressure from the enemy nomads.
Yeah.
They're making a great job.
Same gameplay as last time, so not much comment. Sometimes it is also important to sleep the opponent and don't hit them, don't wake them up. You could just continuously sleep them if it's easy to do so. So if they're out in the open and the target is clear, this is something that you can communicate with your teammates that, just keep the target asleep so that we can, remove one opponent from the game for a long time.
Yeah, that's also actually funny because what you hear on comms is always shoot that guy, shoot the guy, oh, shoot the guy. With Hemlock, what you hear is do not shoot that guy, do not shoot him. Definitely picked the best moment to rush in.
Yeah, so there's a lot of patience there, as you can see. And what we're waiting for mainly is the ally to push on the left side so that we can create a diversion. Or
I thought it was a Panther Shield actually.
Oh, the Panther Shield definitely is one of them. So it's like kind of came together actually, but yeah, you're right. So awesome. Panther Shield, teammate, all coming together. And they will notice something, that the dash. So the dash, I could have killed the Panther, right? But I kept it on the left. I just stunned him and moved on to the right target. Because a lot of things are going to happen right now in the next 20 seconds. So we want to make sure we get as much value as possible against our opponents.
Nice.
And the fight's still going on. Like other teammates are following up, trying to close in the gap on the kill count. The last 4 seconds. And that looks like it will do it.
Phew, that was close.
Very nice game.
But that was really nice.
Overall, yeah.
Oh, what's going on with that leg? What's going on with the closest leg?
Oh.